From Chief Magistrate to Chief Justice in less than a year. Tim Carmody will replace Paul de Jersey next month when the current head of the Supreme Court becomes Governor. Judge Carmody has stared down critics who've accused him of being too close to the government. He spoke to state political reporter Chris O'Brien.
At 58 years of age, Queensland's incoming Chief Justice has had a long and varied legal career.
Well, I think I'm fairly familiar to people in Queensland.
He was counsel assisting at the Fitzgerald inquiry in the late 80s, Queensland Crime Commissioner in the late 90s, a family court judge and head of the 2012 inquiry into child protection. But it was only September last year that he was appointed Chief Magistrate and was accused by some of being too supportive of the government's anti-gang laws.
A bad day for everybody when the entire Magistrates Court bench is sidelined by a Chief Magistrate.
People did think that some of the things I said was supporting the bikie law, so-called bikie laws. Good luck with finding me saying that.
The former Solicitor General, Walter Sofronoff, publicly derided Judge Carmody's eligibility for Chief Justice.
The only qualified candidates are on the Supreme Court, not outside, and certainly not Judge Carmody.
A view shared by the former Supreme Court Judge Richard Chesterman.
I'm honest, straight talking, and despite what people might read in the newspapers, I'm fiercely independent.
This bloke is the right bloke to take our courts forward for the next 10 years. He will be an inspirational leader.
But Judge Carmody's old boss, Tony Fitzgerald, disagrees. People whose ambition exceeds their ability aren't all that unusual, he says. However, it's deeply troubling that the megalomaniacs currently holding power in Queensland are prepared to damage the Supreme Court and cast doubt on the independence of the judiciary. Judge Carmody says he doesn't enjoy that sort of criticism, but he weighs it up and moves on.
There's more to being a Chief Justice than a black-letter lawyer. There are plenty of them already on the Supreme Court. I don't aspire to compete with them for intellectual rigour. What I'm there to do is make sure that the court as a whole provides the service that the community pays for.
To Chris O'Brien now at State Parliament. Chris, Judge Carmody doesn't appear fazed by the criticism.
I don't think he enjoys it, John, but he does appear unflappable. Many big names in the legal community were there today for the announcement, and he got a healthy round of applause. And he obviously has the strong support of the Attorney-General and the Premier, who, by the way, after making big criticism recently of judges in so-called ivory towers, made a big deal today of Judge Carmody's more humble upbringing. And of course, Judge Carmody himself told everybody very plainly that he sees himself as his own man, or his own bloke, as the Premier said.
And what's been the reaction since the announcement?
The Queensland Law Society very warmly welcomed the appointment, John. On the other hand, the Bar Association said very little at all. In fact, their silence was deafening. And from the Labor side of politics, the former Attorney-General Cameron Dick, who's now a candidate to get back into Parliament, says it's been a disappointing day for the administration of justice in Queensland. So interesting to get a comment from that quarter, John.
Chris O'Brien at State Parliament, thank you.